Hello everybody, it's Henry. Sorry for the lateness of this video. I'm busy today. And so this week we're talking about dating and disclosure. So let's get into that. Here we have, are you dating? I am not currently dating anybody. I would like to. I just gotta find a person that would want to and is acceptable. Do they know you're transgender? Well, I would think that anybody that I would date would know that I'm trans. It would have to be a conversation, at least for me, having, before anybody goes into any sort of relationship with moi. It doesn't really work if they don't know that. I do think it's harder to date when you're trans because there is a fear that they're not going to accept you for who you are, and bodies and sex make things uncomfortable, and you don't really know what's going on sometimes. Most, if you're like dating a cis straight girl, and you're a trans guy, it's kind of hard to say, this is what I want done to my body when you don't have the right parts to work those things. So it gets difficult. I would come out to a date pretty much, my idea of how to get started in a relationship is just start talking. And I feel like that's a conversation that we would have in that sort of talking phase. Because it's obviously a thing that somebody in a relationship with me would have to know, because it is a massive part of my life right now, even though I may not want it to be. It is. And so, yeah, I would come out to someone I'm interested in, just say, hey, by the way, need to ask you something. You okay with transgender people, or something of the sort, or try to bring it up in some way and ask them their opinions on it. And then, depending on what they say, if they say something awful, don't tell them. But if they're fine with it, just be like, okay, 'cause I'm trans, yo, sup. And that's all that's really needs to be said. If they have questions, Google it if you don't want to talk about it. It's not that complicated. At least it doesn't have to be. To someone who's trans and is new to dating, what advice would I give? It's hard to say because everybody's different, it's a different experience dating bisexual people than it is dating straight women. It's different dating gay men than it is dating straight men, and it can get pretty damn complicated when it comes to other people's sexualities and stuff, because some people would not be okay with it, and while that's an unfortunate thing that happens, it does. So I think you have to be careful in your choosing, at least if you're, early on in your transition. Be careful and be mindful of what that person says and their attitudes, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're being invalidated in your identity, or that they think of you a way that you don't want to be thought about. So yeah, and mostly just communicate, talk about what makes you feel uncomfortable. They're not going to know. is the fact of it. If they are not trans, they have no clue what you're going through. And you have to educate them, unfortunately. Not many people are educated on trans issues, and so it's important to talk about it, communicate, and be helpful to them. But don't waste your time if it's obvious they're not going to accept you. So that's my advice. Good luck, have fun, be safe. Bye.